Midwifery means delivery, that is labor. So labor is one of the painful procedure, and in midwifery it is one of the important topic that we are studying, the mechanism of labor. This mechanism of labor you have to study very well, especially in the practical settings. So in practical exam, in your practical viva, this question will be asked and you have to show the mechanism of labor. So today I will be showing about the mechanism of labor. So first we will see the definition of mechanism of labor. So when you are answering in your practical exam, first you have to go according to the series. If your examiner is asking a question regarding how to explain the mechanism of labor, first you have to say the definition. So you have to keep in mind there is a definition of mechanism of labor is different from the definition of labor. So definition of mechanism of labor is the series of movement that occurs on the head in the process of adaptation in its journey through the pelvis is called as a mechanism of labor. Next we have to say the three important principles of mechanism of labor. So what are these three important principles of mechanism of labor? The first one is the descent. The descent takes place throughout the mechanism of the labor. And the second principle is whichever part leads and first meet the resistance of the pelvic floor will pivot forward and it comes under the symphysis pubis. And the third principle is whatever emerges from the pelvis will pivot around the pubic bone. So these are the three important principles which you have to say before starting the mechanism of labor. The next one is we will see the description. So we are seeing the description of the normal mechanism of labor. So you have to say the various description also before explaining the normal mechanism of labor. So what are the description? The first thing which you have to say is the lie. So here the lie is longitudinal. The second one is the presentation. In the normal mechanism of labor, the presentation is cephalic presentation. The third one is the position. Here we are going to see about the position is you can either go for a right occiputo anterior or you can say about the left occiputo anterior. And the attitude. The attitude is one of the good flexion. The denominator is an occiput. In vertex presentation, the denominator is occiput and the presenting part is the posterior part of the anterior parietal bone. Okay, next we'll see what are the main movements in normal mechanism of labor. In order to say the mechanism of labor, you should know how to hold the fetus and how to hold the pelvis. To hold the fetus, you may be having in your lab such kind of fetus you can see, and the pelvis. So you have to just fold the fetus so that it is comfortable for you to hold the fetus. So you can just bend these two hands and the leg. You have to bend it just like this. So this is the position. So you can hold the baby like this so that it is comfortable for you to hold it. You can hold it tightly like this so it will not come out, and you can hold it neatly, and you have to hold the pelvis in this fashion. So you can hold it like this. So here I am showing you the left occiputo anterior. Either you can go for a left occiputo anterior or to the right occiputo anterior. So this is the position, or this is how you are going to hold the pelvis as well as the fetus. So first we will see the first step in the main movements, that is descent. The descent takes place throughout the labor. In descent, whereas in primigravida, the descent takes place at the later weeks of pregnancy. Whereas in multigravida, because of the lax abdomen, the descent usually takes place when the onset of labor starts. So in descent itself, there will be an engagement of the head, and you will come to know that the vaginal delivery is possible when the fetal get descent and it gets engaged. The second movement is the flexion. So after descent, there will be a the next movement is flexion. In flexion, what happens is the diameter, the engaging diameter, which is suboccipitofrontal diameter, which you can see here, that is 10 centimeter. Because of the increased flexion, will take as a suboccipitobregmatic diameter, that is 9.5 centimeter. So in flexion, because of the flexion, which is suboccipitofrontal diameter 10 centimeter, will take a sub-occipito-bregmatic diameter that is 9.5 centimeters because of the flexion. That is the second movement. Okay, next we'll see the third movement. The first movement is descent. The second one is flexion. Now we'll see the internal rotation of the head. In internal rotation of head, whatever we have seen, the principle is whatever part first meet the floor of the pelvis will rotate forward. So here the denominator is the occiput. Because of the increased flexion and the descent, when it touches the pelvic floor and the labor has already started with the increased contraction and the retraction, what happens is the occiput or the head rotates 1/8 of the circle and comes under the symphysis pubis. So it will be here like this, that is the left occipito anterior, only the head, the shoulder will be in this oblique diameter, whereas the head will rotate forward and it comes under the symphysis pubis, and then you can see there is a slight twist in the neck which will occur in the internal rotation of the head. That is the third movement. The next step is crowning. In crowning, what happens is the occiput will escape under the subpubic arch, and you can see the occiput, and during this time if you maintain a good flexion by just applying a slight pressure during the time of crowning, you can maintain the same diameter, that is a subbregmatic diameter. So once there is a crowning, you should not allow the fetus without any support. You should have a perineal support, as well as you have to maintain a slight flexion of the head so that the head will be delivered with the suboccipito-bregmatic diameter, that is 9.5 centimeters. So you have to maintain a slight flexion on the fetal head during the time of delivery. Anyway, when the occiput is seen under the subpubic arch, you call this step as a crowning, and that is the fourth movement. Okay, the next step is the extension of the head. In extension of head, so we have seen crowning. In crowning, the occiput has already escaped under the subpubic arch. In extension of head, what happens is the occiput, it emerges under the symphysis pubis, whereas your sinciput, the face and the chin sweeps the perineum. That is happening in extension of the head. So the next one is restitution. In restitution, what happens is, as I've said you, in the internal rotation, there has been a slight twist which has occurred in the shoulder. What happens in restitution? So it gets untwisted, or whatever the twist has happened, it will be recovered. So in twist, the head will move slightly towards the left of the mother. The occiput will be rotating left of the mother, and the face will be the fetus will be seeing towards the right thigh. So whatever the twist has been occurred in the neck will be undone in case of restitution, and the head and the neck will be in the same alignment, whereas the head will be outside and the remaining part of the fetus will be inside. The next movement is the internal rotation of the shoulder. In internal rotation of the shoulder, so the head is already born. The anterior shoulder, so you can see the anterior shoulder, it descends down along with the contraction again, and then the anterior shoulder will rotate same like the head, like 1/8 of the circle, and you can see a just slight movement. The anterior shoulder, this is a dummy, but in the real fetus you can see that the anterior shoulder will rotate forward and comes under the symphysis pubis. So along with the internal rotation of the shoulder, you can also see there is an external rotation of the head also. So both will simultaneously move. When there is a movement of the fetal head externally, you'll come to know that the internal rotation of the shoulder has occurred. Okay, so the final step is a lateral flexion. In lateral flexion, what happens is, so here you have seen in the internal rotation of the shoulder is already under the symphysis pubis. In lateral flexion, the anterior shoulder slips beneath the symphysis pubis, and the posterior shoulder sweeps the perineum, and the baby is born by the lateral flexion. Okay, so we have seen the 7 main movements. We'll just summarize the 7 movements. What are they? So the first one is you have a descent. The second one is flexion. In flexion, the suboccipitofrontal diameter 10 centimeter will take subbregmatic diameter, that is 9.5 centimeters. The third one is the internal rotation of the head. Then you have a crowning, and then extension of the head, then you have a restitution, and then the internal rotation of the shoulder. Finally, you have a lateral flexion. So these are the 7 movements, main movements, which you can see in a normal mechanism of labor. So students, I hope you have understood this normal mechanism of labor. So just go through this, just understand the explanation of normal mechanism of labor and try to practice it. So it is very essential, and it is the one of the always asked question in the practical exam, and it carries a marks, and it is a mandatory question in your practical examination. So go through it, study it, and learn it, and try to do a mechanism of labor. Thank you.